Hey guys, for about the last 2.5 years or so, I've had the honor of being a HeadSweats ambassador, and during that time, I have acquired quite a few hats.
Yeah, I found this backstage, oversized hat. It's funny.
No, it's not.
I'm gonna give you some of my favorites right after this. Before I get started on my rundown on HeadSweats, I did want to ask a quick favor of everyone. So I am in the process of developing this channel, obviously. Some of these videos, if you enjoy them, they're only going to get better. YouTube has all of these various hurdles and thresholds that I have to go, and right now I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers so I'm able to have an actual URL that makes sense. It's a garbled mess, basically. So if you guys enjoy this, I would really appreciate some help. So if you guys could just hit the subscribe button, and if there's anyone else you think might be interested in this channel, please pass it on. Thanks. Hey guys, so as I said in the intro, I am a HeadSweat ambassador. HeadSweat does not pay me to make these videos. I'm just doing this out of the kindness of my own heart. So HeadSweats as a company, I really appreciate these guys. And it's been an honor to work with them for the last 2.5 years. And I was a HeadSweat person before that. The first hat that I actually bought was in the summer of 2010. It's actually right here and I still use it. I have this one and this one. This one has the Santa Clarita Marathon on it. I bought it at Runner's Lane, which is a running store in town. You can tell how old these are because it has the old-timey terry cloth sweatband in it that they don't actually do anymore. All HeadSweats' claim to fame is they had a sweatband built into the hat. They've sort of changed how they do that now. They've taken a little bit of a beating because I sort of ignored the instructions to air dry them, and I've just been putting them in the dryer. They did get a little bit beat up as far as the edge, but if you can get a piece of running gear to last for over a decade, you're doing pretty good, considering these are basically about 20 bucks a piece. I've been with HeadSweats and been using them for over a decade, and I love them. I love everything that they stand for. Recently, in the last about 2 years or so, they have teamed up with a company named Repreve. And Repreve basically is one of the leading companies that recycles plastic and turns it into sweat wicking material. And they have made some really amazing products. And what's really cool about HeadSweats is when you buy one of their Repreve products, it actually tells you how many water bottles were used to make that product. So, if you get a neck gaiter, it might say it was made with 2 bottles, or you get a long sleeve shirt and it's like it was made from 5 water bottles. So really cool thing. It makes you kind of feel good, and we are getting rid of reusing some of that plastic that just doesn't just go in the landfill. Okay, so the first hat that I'm gonna talk about is the Crusher hat. Now the Crusher hat is probably their newest hat that they've come out with. It's basically, I think it's about 18 months old, maybe 2 years old. It's very similar to the race hat with a few modifications. So when you have the race hat, which I will talk more about, the race hat has a hard bill. Crusher hat has a very flexible bill that you're actually able to flip up. I tend to wear my hat backwards just because I always wear sunglasses, so I'm not really worried about glare and stuff like that. The hat, generally most Crusher hats have a mesh that has larger holes, but not all of them. This one do not have holes. Crusher hats also tend to have a little bit cooler designs. They tend to have Colorado-based stuff. Like their big thing is the Sasquatch. Usually have mountains. I think this is it's a landscape somewhere in Colorado. But overall, the Crusher hat is amazing. Does an excellent job of sweat wicking. Has the same sweat wick band that all the other hats have. So this really is going to help control of the sweat, especially on those hot days. One other note on the Crusher hat is it's kind of a hybrid between your technical trucker and your race hat. So it's a little bit of both. So the next thing I want to talk about is the cycle cap. The cycle cap, people know me as a runner, but I do a lot of cross training on my bike. Also, I use my pool, and so I get just as sweaty cycling as I do running. So I had to go get a cycle cap, and I have a few of these. It has a one size fit all. I have a kind of a big head.
Well, that's a huge noggin.
But this hat, it allows you to flip it up. I usually wear it backwards. It's kind of my thing. But does an excellent job of sweat wicking, has the band built in, and it's pretty inexpensive. All of these hats are inexpensive. I think none of these hats are going to run you more than 25 bucks. So, and then if you add my 40% discount, it's even more. So, you could pick up quite a few different hats for not a lot of money. The last hat that I want to talk about is the race hat. Now, this is the one that is my favorite. I've been wearing the race hat for years. Like I said earlier, this hat is well over a decade old. It's seen better days, but it holds up. I still wear it. I still use it. This is the modern version of the race hat. As you can see, it does not have the terry cloth, very old-timey, like almost like a headband built in. This one has more of a modern headband in it, but more or less the design is the same. Bill is more stern. It is adjustable, but it does an excellent job of sweat wicking. The only downside I would say is if you are bald, you might want to put some sunscreen on your head, because this is very thin, and if you're getting sun beating down on you, you're probably gonna have some issues. So that about does it for my Head Sweats video. And if you guys have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments below. All the links will be in the bio. My code, I'mHoff40, gets you 40% off anything on the store. Again, Head Sweats has more than hats. They have inexpensive shirts, which I've actually prototyped. This is one of the prototypes that I was wearing and I've tested. They have cycling gear, they have shorts, they have a new active line for ladies. Very inexpensive stuff to get. I highly recommend that you give them a look. They also have something really cool called grab bags. So whatever type of hat that you may like want to try out, like if you want to try out the race hat or the crusher hat, you can basically try one out for like $8. They give you a grab bag. Now, it might have a logo on it or something like that, but it's basically dead stock, and they give you that. That also really works out well if you say you're running the New York City Marathon and it's freezing cold, but you are not going to wear a thermal hat the whole time because you're going to warm up. You might buy a grab bag hat and just toss it aside because you don't care. It's a grab bag hat. Anyways, so yeah, if you guys liked this, like I said earlier, if you could subscribe, that would be great. We're trying to get to 100, and then we're trying to get to 1,000. And that's all for today, guys. Run positive, and I hope you ever have a great week.